We'll call the regular meeting to order at 7:01, and we'll have Bob Neff lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Board of Mayor Burgess approved the minutes of the regular meeting of May 6, 2025, and the special meeting of May 14, 2025. Each member received copies for review.
Second motion.
Questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the monthly reports of May. Each member received copies for review.
Second motion.
Questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. For opening comments, I'm just going to say one thing. I'm going to call a special joint board meeting. We'll try and pick a convenient date. We're going to deliver good news. We had a lengthy meeting internally with our investment advisor, Mike Goss, and he's got a very detailed presentation. I'll just say that when he makes it, comparing us to the towns around us, including AAA towns, we're doing right at the top. And it's a steady average as well, with one really fantastic year. So we're averaging over a 5-year period about 8.7%, and especially on the bond restructure that we did, we borrowed at 2.75%. So all of those things strengthen our pension plan and make everything better for the long term. But it's a pretty detailed report, and he hasn't come in several years, so I want him to come and have the Burgesses and the finance board get that information. Maybe we can even get it in advance so we can ask questions. I had some questions about volatility in the last year, 6 months or so, and we're actually up over all indexes in even the most recent period, which to me was very comforting news. So we're going to schedule that meeting. I don't really have any date in mind, but maybe we'll make it close to whenever we're supposed to have our regular meeting. Eileen, do we have a date in mind that my boss wants?
No, I think we're considering August.
August?
We can do it. I can.
Oh, okay. Well, August, I don't have to worry about it. Okay, but we will set that up, and let's get copies of the report to everyone before the meeting so they can ask questions, okay?
We'll have that.
All right. Having said that, let's go directly to public comment. And is there anyone here live or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? If so, if you're on Zoom, raise your hand, go in the chat box, do something, and Jim K will recognize you. So first call for public comment. All right, second call for public comment. Last call for public comment. All right, hearing none, we will proceed. What I'd like to do is go to item 27. Our proud dad in the audience has to call bingo at the American Legion. He's the father of First Lieutenant Brian Goggin, who is now protecting our borders near the Northern Lights. I didn't.
He's in Washington State.
When did the Northern Lights start appearing in Washington State?
This week,
Yeah.
Massive solar flare.
yeah, Brendan was in Acadia.
Q4 storm, so.
Well, look, I wanna have them in Naugatuck, so I'm gonna have to work.
We just gotta call a different construction company, but I'm sure they'll come.
Yeah, right.
All right,
New flashlights.
27.
27.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the following list of uncollected taxes to be transferred to the suspense list in the amount of $781,832.20, effective June 30th, 2025, as recommended by Tax Collector James Doggett as a friend.
Second motion.
All right, now, I want you to start off, Jim, by telling everyone what the suspense list is.
Okay, so the auditors have, first off, by Connecticut state law, we have to suspend at least $1 in taxes every single year from the list. But what we do is we suspend taxes that are more than 3 years, it's actually 4 years past due. And so they're not, my office then won't proceed to collect them. They'll go out to Marshall's office, but we won't proceed to collect them. But the auditors want them off the books. They don't want them.
So what type of accounts are there?
So it's motor vehicle supplement, and personal property. Real estate never goes on to a suspense list. We collect that for the full 15 years. We'll go after each one, whatever, that's that old, unless it's a property that's condemned.
And there's a better shot that the marshal would be successful in doing it.
Yeah, and we have to put something on suspense, and the auditors don't want us to keep those dollars on the books. So they kind of moved to a different spot on the books.
All right, do we have any questions for Jim?
Jim, just for curious, what's the most that we've ever put on a suspense list, and what's the least that we've ever put on?
The least was, for a few years, we weren't putting anything on suspense list, but we started probably 8 years ago, making sure that something went on the suspense list. This is the same number roughly we've been doing every year for the past 4 years.
Okay.
Putting anything that was, putting the whole thing on. The auditor said to us 4 years ago, we want to get some of this stuff off, you know, not to the suspense list. Just another spot for the county.
It still can be collected. by the
Yeah.
marshal.
Absolutely, absolutely, but I can't send an email, just, once it's on the suspense list, I can't send out mail. If they come in and pay, it's collectible for 15 years. I mean, if we look at what's due from 15 years ago in these three categories, you'll see it dwindles down to almost nothing. But again, we're collecting 97.5% of all active year taxes. It's one of the highest around here. And a lot of back taxes and everything else too. So we're doing very well in collections.
We're already well past 97 in the years now.
We'll get it. Gotta get to 97.5.
I keep track of it. I want you to know.
I understand that. You and me both.
All right, any questions for Jim? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you for this. We're gonna go make the American Legion be happy.
Now, Jim, okay, is Nancy on the line?
Yes, she is.
Nancy, question. I intend to appoint Steve Loban as a regular member of the Fire Commission. I thought it was going to be on the agenda, it's not. So I would, I just want to make sure I can add it to the agenda tonight. There's nothing we have to do first, and if so, we'll add it and I'll appoint him. Okay?
I'm gonna pull the, did you say fire commission?
He's an alternate right now, and we want to move him up to regular.
Okay, let me see about, let me see the vacancy if he can move up. Okay, he's a Republican and the vacancy's a Republican, so yes, you can make a motion to add to the agenda to appoint someone to the Fire Commission, and then we can appoint you, because it's your appointment, you can appoint Steve Loban do the fire commission as a regular member, term expiring, oh, it's expired, so it would be May 2030.
Term to expire May 23rd. Okay.
It's a fully expired term.
Of who?
Steve.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion that we add to the agenda, a motion to appoint Steve Logan as a regular member of the Fire Commission, replacing Stephen Hunt, who has resigned for a term ending in May of 2030.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we've now added it to the agenda, and now I will entertain a motion. Well, I don't even have to entertain it.
No, you don't have to.
I hereby appoint Stephen Logan. What's your address, Steve?
100 Barn Finch Circle.
100 Barn Finch Circle, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Fire Commission, replacing Stephen Hunt for a term that will expire in May of 2030.
Yay.
All right, come forward, Steve.
Swear. Good appointment.
I'm going to swear you in, and you can take the rest of the night off. Raise your right hand. I, Steve Logan.
I, Stephen Logan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will fulfill the duties
that full duties
of the office of Fire Commissioner
of the Office of Fire
of the
Commissioner
Borough of Naugatuck
of the Borough of Naugatuck
in accordance with the rules of the Fire Department,
in accordance with the rules of the Fire Department,
the laws of the state of Connecticut,
the laws of the state of Connecticut,
and the laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United States of America.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Okay.
Congratulations.
All right. Get back to the regular sequence here. Is Kyle, who's on the line? Kyle, Ken?
No, neither.
Okay, is there anyone?
I'd be glad to just say a few words.
Or let's just make sure they're not.
I'm always glad to say a few words.
You will be my third choice after Kyle.
If you look at the report very significantly, total requests for service, 423. Think of that in a 30-day period. That is a lot of calls, and they seem to be increasing. But that includes calls also to Waterbury, to Bethany, to Beacon Falls, to Seymour, because a lot of ambulance services around us are very short-staffed, basically failing, and they're needing an awful lot of help, and we just can't say no. But look at the mutual aid in. We needed help 3 times on those 423 calls. We helped people 48 times. So that's very significant. And I think that's one of the reasons that this is recognized by Waterbury Hospital, and Naugatuck EMS very proudly was named the EMS Service of the Year. And I think we should all be very proud of that. It's quite an accomplishment in a very short amount of time. That's it.
Excellent job.
Thank you. Even though I was third on the list.
And they're lending out, they're currently lending out to Thomaston, right?
It's well done for the bronze medalist. Good job.
Is there a ceremony for that or anything?
There was up at the hospital last week. So I had to get invited.
That's because you were third on the list.
That's right.
Well, I didn't do that.
1 and 2 were, just saying. Yeah.
All right, item 8, development plans. Couple of updates. First of all, next week of July 9th, we're gonna do the final grading on Church Street, and we're scheduled to pave Church Street weather permitting on Thursday of next week. Number 1. Number 2, they will then be proceeding to the green. The intersection work at Church and Maple is extensive, so there will be some blockage of Upper Church Street. So the plan is that we will not allow parking on Park Place, and we will have two-way traffic on Park Place and make the best arrangements we can so no one will be inconvenienced or at least it will be minimized. So the green area is next, then they go to Maple Street. In fact, they're gonna do some of the work on Maple Street while they're doing the green. After Maple Street, they go to the Whittemore Bridge, and everything is on schedule to finish in October. The other downtown project, the Parcel AB Community Challenge, is also on schedule and should be finishing around the same time. DOT will be issuing their order to commence construction July 3rd. So they are ready to go. July 3rd, Rizzo Contracting, who have been awarded the bid, will mobilize, start the project. We had our first construction meeting today, and we'll be meeting regularly with them, and also, of course, DOT. So that's good. The Penrose is scheduled, the closing is scheduled for July 20th. So they will be starting construction around the same time as DOT. So there will be quite a bit of activity on Parcel B in full speed ahead. So I'll stop there and take any questions on construction.
All the pretty stuff, the lines, the covered walkway, that'll all be done by October?
I'm gonna say everything will be done except some of the trees, you know, depending on the weather in October, they may not want to plant them, but everything should be done on schedule.
Let me ask a question. This part right here of Church Street going down is going to be closed, correct?
Well, it won't really be closed. It'll be, you can come down Park Place and go back and forth, but it'll be closed. In other words, you can't go straight through.
So the beginning half, you won't be able to access.
You won't be able to access it from its regular spot.
Okay.
Right here.
Right here.
Okay, so I guess my question is,
Jim,
if there's no access from this point to go down Church, so there's not going to be any cars coming down from this point to Park Place, correct?
So they plan on putting the binder course down on 60. Put the binder course down next Thursday.
Yeah.
And open up Church Street. You know, it'll be still around construction crews putting brick in on the 16th. Shortly thereafter. Now, after July 4th, at their current schedule to start to work on the intersection.
Yeah.
They really want to have the whole intersection available because it's a raised intersection and it's very complicated to make sure it's all done perfectly. So that's going to be a period where people won't be able to go through. Now, we're going to try to figure out a way to make it open as we can. But that's going to impact the first section, but they'll have still access through this whole parking lot at Park Place.
And Park Place will only be two-way for that time period, correct? It will go back to one-way.
correct. And so,
I understand that part.
Why don't
But if there
people
are
one
no,
way to come in?
if there's no cars coming down Church to Park Place,
well, the only ones coming down will be if someone drives and say parks
okay.
and then drives back. But I mean, there'll be no traffic going from Upper Church Street through.
All right, well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot
By
of
the way,
confusion.
we're open to
But,
suggestions. If there's a better way to do
So
it.
the center church won't be two-way to accommodate coming to it?
For just while they're doing the intersection.
are they going to put a temporary line in the middle of Park Place so people can understand it's two ways? And are you going to have the appropriate signs?
Our plan is to get the signage and
Yeah.
columns down the center or
And
something.
I'm assuming like
Will
an
the state okay
officer,
it will?
something.
Did the state okay it on 63?
Talk to them
That little traffic engineer, right, things, I just, because it's so narrow, I would think make it one way coming into there, and then they turn and they go.
They go all the other way.
Are you gonna experiment with this?
again. We're gonna talk about it the next meeting and try to.
I mean, I had the same thought Fran had, and I'm not sure what's best, but I think that you should be flexible, adjust it, and figure out what's working best, and then go with it.
And this is next week, June 9th?
No,
July.
July, okay.
July after the July 4th.
Okay, I was like, this is next week and we don't know yet. Okay.
Yeah.
right. All right, any other thoughts or comments on downtown construction? Okay, item 9, downtown stabilization incentive grants. We have emailed everyone today copies of quite a few documents that were prepared by the TIP committee. You should probably get a set of those. What they are, the grant application, an overview on the process with submission dates, award schedule, etc. An application form that is pretty extensive, submission instructions. There is a listing of a program overview, grant purpose, eligibility requirements, grant detail. There are some frequently asked questions, and there's a scoring rubric that will determine how the grants are awarded and what amount. So I'm going to just say it's a good start, I think. And you will be evaluating it further as we go. You see the level of applicants.
This is being posted first.
We also plan to extend it from the Church Maple Street area in the subsequent application to a portion of Rubber Avenue, possibly other impacted areas. Charlie, Dorothy, do you want to add anything?
It was a pretty, well thought out process in going through and developing the FQ&A and the application process. I think my only concern at this point is we haven't heard back if there was a legal sign off on it.
Oh, that's not a concern. That'll be done before we do the grant.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So the applications are out there.
right.
But to the extent there are any legal modifications, we have until we do the work to do that.
And then we have to work on the agreement piece, but other than that, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, and everyone wanted to start right away, so we started right away.
Mayor, did you say that they were, the applications were emailed to the Burgesses?
Yes.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Which is where my question.
in relation to the meeting, it's a very fast process. We had to put something together quickly. And really, what drove us to do it as quickly as we did was many of the business owners came to our TIF meeting, and they all told their story, where they're at, and the immediate need for money. And I was pleased with the way we moved quickly. James Higgins gets a lot of credit, I think, for helping put together. Dorothy helped out with a lot of the research of the language and some of the towns. And it came together nicely. Is it perfect? No. Is it something to start with? It's good. It will be good for some of our businesses that are in dire straits downtown. And process is out, applications out. Businesses that came to our meeting were ready to go. They were ready to go in April when we first talked about this at this meeting. And the TIF committee did a good job. When you think about
how fast government usually moves. They actually moved pretty quickly, which was good to see. And hopefully we get the applications in. We're looking to review them on the 23rd.
Yes.
And we will know by the 25th. We'll tell people whether they've been awarded. And hopefully some of the businesses that are really strapped will be able to have access to the grants they're applying for the beginning of July. And some of the stories, right, I mean, they're holding on by their fingernails and staying open, a couple of them. So this infusion, the stimulus downtown would be a very good thing. And to speak to the second phase we discussed, Tiff had a longer discussion about who is going to be able to apply for this. And we decided on the geographic proximity of Church Street and Maple Street, so they have been immediately affected first. And since Rubber Avenue is also going to have their needs, I think the spirit is that we're going to see where we're at with interest on the TIF money, and then maybe set another one to cover the businesses that from Holdley Street all the way down to the intersection of Old Firehouse, so we can help out those businesses as well. So see how this one works and see where we go from there.
I agree, it's a very good start, and we'll tweak it and improve it as we go, like we do.
And similar programs have been done in other towns. So
It looks great.
it's not like we've done this the first time out. We did some really extensive research and determining what towns are doing it, how are they doing it, and so we had some, foundation work to pull from.
And I'm assuming the businesses, especially the ones that were at the meeting, are aware of where to get the application and it's been sent
Most
to
of them
them.
already have.
Yeah.
They were probably here on Monday.
Well, no, I should say this,
Door open.
we hand delivered, everyone who was on your list. Now that probably isn't everyone. We'll also be putting a legal notice in the paper. It's on the borough website,
Awesome.
and word of mouth. A newspaper article might be helpful, but, we're doing the best we can so people know about it.
May I make a few comments?
Yes.
This is an amazing amount of work that was done in a short amount of time. Well, the only comments I have is, I just don't see the reason for limiting it to those businesses. Because,
It says or foot traffic. So,
but it says significant foot traffic. That's a very not obvious term.
well, let's just say this, we discussed that point, at the committee level, and, it was pretty much unanimous that this is the best way to do it, at least to start. That doesn't mean, things won't be changed as we go forward, but this seemed to be a clear consensus of the best place to start.
The only reason I'm asking because there's other businesses on Church Street that didn't get an application. That do have.
Hold on, everyone is getting an application, whether they're eligible is the question.
Right.
They can apply.
We,
Just depends on the
So people
criteria.
that aren't eligible received applications?
So-
Well, I think they have to obtain it, right?
there's no one is determined eligible yet until
Until
we
we-
meet.
yeah.
But I think I know who you're referring to, and he's eligible, as is anyone, to apply. And I'll just say, if they have significant foot traffic and other compelling reasons, they can qualify.
The other question, and I think Charlie answered it, I asked why there was such a tight deadline. I know you want to get money to people as quickly as possible, but if you don't use all the money, then there's still people that could be compensated past that deadline. So I just didn't understand why, there was a deadline for applying for it, if there's still money left over.
Rocky, the only reason was to do it quickly, so.
Charlie said it, pushes people to get it done.
Yeah.
And then the other question that's not in here is how a calculation will be done with the lost income. And I'm wondering who's gonna, how's gonna do it.
That is not a key factor in our determination. It is one thing we will look at, but it is by no means the major factor. If you look at the scoring rubric, you'll see, and that is one thing, but there are many things that we look at. And just remember two things. A lot of people blame the town. Well, 90% of it had nothing to do with the town. A. B, I would just say that, the construction, well, the impact to the businesses is really much more in my mind than what they lost during the construction. The property values are going way up, the rents are gonna go way up. To be competitive and to fight off other businesses who are gonna wanna come here is gonna require some improvements to their business. You know, new equipment, you know, new things that businesses can do to improve their business and generate more income is just as big a part of the process as what they are.
So this isn't simply to replace lost income. I may not have lost anything, but I can still get some money for improvements.
That's correct. You could still theoretically get money without losing any income.
Gotcha.
Or you could lose income and not get it. It's all based on the scoring rubric, and if you look at the rubric, it's expensive.
Yeah. Thank you.
The spirit of the committee too was, we made it clear in our discussions, this is not a reparations. This is a stabilization, so people can move forward and have a steadier ground. So whether it be the new equipment or helping you bring their debt load down that they had taken on over the last year and a half, it allowed them to move forward. So the hope was everything was about moving forward and not looking behind us.
That explains much better, thank you.
Right, any further questions? Okay. Item 10, facade improvement subcommittee. So we're gonna meet next week. We're gonna have a very similar format as a draft to bring to the committee and to play with and finalize. It's almost done now, and we will present it to the committee next week. And it'll be the same basic documents for the facade improvement program, and that program will follow this by a few weeks or a month. Questions? Okay, Senior Center Activity Committee. I'm just gonna start this off before I turn it over to Tim and Julie, our senior center liaisons.
Senior center relations or senior central relations.
The senior center liaison.
Either way, it's good.
So,
It's better every time you say it.
Yeah.
Keeps improving.
so let's just, as we recall, in our budget for next year, starting July 1, we've allocated some funding to provide some additional help at the senior center. And it'll be part-time, but the clear intention is to increase programming and programs. And that will happen, and we're working on that now. The second thing we thought is, and we're going to appoint commission members tonight. It's the next item on the agenda. We felt that we should make a chairman, and we are going to be recommending that Jess Pito be the chairman. She's got a lot of experience in senior matters, and we also want her to have more meetings. They only meet twice a year, and we feel there should be more monitoring by that group of the activities and new activities, increasing activities. So I'll stop there and turn it over to Jim and Julie, who've been taking a lot of extra work on because there's a lot of questions, we'll say, at the senior center. So, Tim, Julie?
Sure. So we were appointed, asked to take this on because of some concerns that were brought forward by some of our seniors. And Mayor Pete talked to us about obviously confirming the validity of the concerns, as well as coming up with some suggestions for how it can improve and how it needs to improve. So Julie and I undertook some research activities. We visited senior centers. We talked to many of the seniors, and we met with the director, Harvey, to talk about that. The outcome of that was 9 recommendations, none of which are profound recommendations, just kind of confirming what should be happening and confirming what needs to happen. So that's the crux of what we've taken on.
I mean, they obviously need more activities there. I mean, if you go in there, it's, it's people hanging around, which is fine. I mean, you need a place to go to, but they need activities. I mean, the place doesn't have a lot of things going on when you go in there. And, you go to other facilities and you don't want to start comparing, but, you want active seniors going in, and you really don't have that. And, he's a little resistant, so we've had some problems there. I tried to do a trip and it kind of got talked down,
Well, we're not gonna talk
Well, we're not
about
gonna talk-
personnel here.
No,
Not
it's not appropriate
But
here.
we are definitely going to work on increasing
Increasing programs, right.
And increasing program, increasing membership, and ensuring that protocols that are common to all senior centers are followed in our senior center. And we talk about membership, excuse me, some focus needs to happen for younger seniors. So that you're promoting a continuance of the program and a vitality that keeps the center alive. When you have a variety of people coming and doing different things, it creates interest and excitement about it.
Were you looking at any specific senior centers in the general area as a prototype?
Yeah.
To
As
kind
a
of
prototype,
use it
as a prototype, no, because every community is different. But as to figure out what these protocols need to look like, to figure out how they work on membership, to figure out how they work on communication, yes. They're as different as the different communities that they're in.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to hold, I shouldn't say hold anybody responsible, because I'm not holding anybody responsible for anything. I'm making recommendations. But I wouldn't want to be recommending, you need to look more like this place, because it has all the charm of why aren't you like your big sister?
So the key is to make it a more vibrant, more active,
Yes.
Right.
participating environment.
More welcoming, more welcoming to more
Sounds good.
people. Activities that I would want to go in for, somebody else would want to go in for,
Right.
isn't happening right now.
I may need it someday too.
We're getting close.
Well, you mentioned that,
I'm
but
over the age.
not for us, but with the exception of Megan, everybody on our board could join the senior center, we qualify.
I'll come check all your blood pressure.
There you go.
Charlie, it comes in handy.
Not quite,
I know, you're not quite.
quite,
Not quite.
3 more years.
I'm an older skunk.
I can also provide pill boxes and.
That's like AARP.
Empty.
Ages 50.
Yes, empty.
But I think having more commission meetings and putting Jess in charge and.
Yeah, I thought more meetings would be good too, because 2 meetings a year is kind of, you can't follow through. You can't really put your finger
If
on the
they're
ball.
at, if they're at the time
Yeah.
that stuff is needed for the place, for an event coming up, and that's
Yeah.
the only reason the meeting is held.
And there has to be an appropriate agenda. for
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm saying.
And right now, there's no chairman,
No.
so by making her the chairman, she can set an agenda.
Some direction,
So I think
the
what
process.
the process is gonna take time to do. Here's my concern. And it's not a negative concern. It's a concern that if we develop and we move forward with some extreme positive stuff, and we bring a big membership, and we start having more activities, the concern is gonna be the location. The building is not large enough to do anything, quite honestly. And I sort of spitballed this to the mayor at OTB one day, for a time ago.
I think we're somewhere else.
You want to bet?
I think it was the Burgess. And I says, when I saw that Rite Aid was going out of business, I says, holy crap. 12,400 square foot facility. One level, a lot of parking. Might be a nice place. But also, we can also look at putting Margaret Valley Soup Kitchen, who needs a space other than St. Michael's. Put it in a facility like that. Or the food bank on Spring Street, which is extremely small, and put them in a facility like that, where you have 3 entities in a certain location. That was just me, just rolling it out, Interesting. And that was what I was thinking about. And I know it's so, premature, but whatever we do to enhance the senior center, we've got to also make sure that the facility is going to be large enough to do what we want. And we already know it's not. And whatever kind of money we put into that facility, or grants or whatever it may be.
We have
So, those are just some things to also think about for long term. That's all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then, of course, whatever you do, to consolidate those two, the partnership always gets a home too.
There's a lot of things that are all
Like a whole social
inclusive, they can be all part of it.
Sure.
It's the right direction. The senior center, this commission, this committee, as the chair, you identify your assets, your liabilities, and identify, not say we want to be like a certain center, but what are the best practices for
Yes.
a vibrant and active senior center, and recognizing what you said. Seniors could be anyone from their 60s, people living longer and are staying active longer. All the way to their late 90s.
Could I correct you on that? I just looked at, you have to be 50 years old to join the senior
It's
center.
all right, I can join.
All right.
Same as Boom,
I
there
still
it is.
can't.
ARB, you're right. You can get the magazine, you can be in the center. All right.
I'm still out, guys, unless it says you're.
That's fair.
Unless
That's
it
fair.
says you're nurse.
Rocky can join it twice.
That's right.
All right, so, what we will do, I think, this is set up in 2 motions, 12 and 13. What I'd like to do is proceed with 12. When we get to 13, we will amend it a little and make Jesselyn Pito the chairman with the recommendation that she schedule more meetings and take other action. We'll get to that at
Anytime, that's why I'm here.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Come up with a decree. So let's go to item 12. So I appoint Sienna Hoskins, Joseph Corona, Kenneth Pratt, Pastor Desmond Dorset, Susan Sloan, Jennifer Harris, and Nicole Sullivan to the Elderly Commission with terms to expire 6/1/2026. I also reappoint Catherine Green, Stephen Zambruski, Donna Johnson, Jesselyn Pito, Trista Karen, Lucian Aquino, Kenneth Hanks, Gretchen Carlson, and Tina Royal as members of the Elderly Commission, terms to expire 6/1/2026. And I further order that Jesselyn Pito be the chairman of the commission, and we further instruct her to schedule more regular meetings and to take other appropriate action to, increase and enhance programs.
Do you need the vice chair in case you can't make the meeting?
And I also appoint. Let's take a short break here, take a look.
Why don't,
Rich, opposed?
why don't we get some input from Jess Pito?
Yeah.
She knows.
She,
Okay, I'll let
you work with.
I
She has the
further,
expertise.
authorize Jess Pito to select a vice chairman from the, existing members.
Awesome.
Good,
good.
Awesome.
all right, I reappoint Stephen Smith as a regular member of the police commission, term to expire 6/1/23.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Wayne M. Malicki, 191 Horton Hill Road, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Serum James, 37 Jolie Road, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Eric Reichert, 67 Heritage Drive, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Elma Solomon, 228 Crestwood Drive, Naugatuck, as an alternate member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Smith A. Payne Jr., 1 Van Avenue, Naugatuck, as an alternate member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
Discussion? I'll just say this, Elma and Smitty, I wanted one of them to move up, but we have too many Democrats, so to keep the correct balance, they have to remain alternates. We may have an opening, I'm not sure, but, we may have an opening, I'll check next month and see, but I guess we have plenty of time to fill it. But, we will check that out, but I couldn't move them up because of minority representation, I just wanted to get through. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Scott Earth, 41 Millville Avenue, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Golf Commission, term to expire June 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the bid for contract number FY 26-B112 for the purchase of golf carts and annual service contract to New England Golf Cars Incorporated, Industrial Waste, Seacon, Massachusetts, as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second motion.
James?
So obviously we went to bid, got responses from EasyGo and Yamaha. EasyGo was less expensive, but Golf Commission's requesting unanimously through an email poll. We keep working with Yamaha. Their delivery time is reduced from a year down to 3 months. So we could get them this season if we place the order soon. The cost is $43,800 for 6 carts, and we had budgeted $45,000. So it is under the budget.
Are they wearing right?
They are gray. They no longer provide the garnet color.
It's a great day.
Put some decals.
Questions for Jim? I'll just say, even with the rainy weather, the course is changed, and it's doing very well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgess approved the bid for contract number FY 26-B129 for turf maintenance materials to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart, as a bid.
Second motion.
All right, James.
So all these companies responded to our normal turf maintenance bid. We've used them all for years, and they supply fertilizers, pesticides, such to the golf course, the parks department, the street department. So we'd be awarding to them all and using them depending on what products they provide and the price they provide.
So these are already approved vendors, or,
No,
okay, they're
they're bidders now.
so they're not approved vendors, they're bidders.
Well, they may be approved vendors, but we would want them as bidders because we have pricing from them for products.
Okay. All right, questions for Jim?
They're gonna bring it into our new Spurs and deliver it into the warehouse.
I hopefully not. We're not gonna need that much.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgess accept and award the bid received after opening date for contract number FY 26-B117 for general construction equipment, roof repairs, labor and material rates to Rocco Iadarola, general contracting, Pinehurst Avenue, Waterbury, as per bid as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second motion.
Jim?
So, Rocco, installs the crosswalks, the thermoplastic crosswalks. He does them for everyone. He's doing them for us on North Main. He's doing them from Rubber Avenue. He did us for North Church. He's doing them for downtown, both contractors. So we want to be able to use them in the future as needed. We're going to need him for crosswalks once the final paving is done. Division in the new year. He emailed, as opposed to responding to the bid on time, he emailed me his numbers, and I told him, hey, the bid's due in a week. You gotta put it in the package, and he did, but it arrived a day or two late. But, obviously, accept his numbers, and
Oh, we're very happy with it.
I'm very happy. He's really the only game in town. So, and he does a great job.
He's fantastic.
He's got a cool first name.
So, Jim, what he does, he's one of the only companies in the state that does.
I think there's another one, but from what I've heard, no one.
He's the best.
Quite satisfied with their work.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna get a bid from the other one. You need any bid or anything from.
No.
All right.
He's the only one. Yeah.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorized Public Works Director James Stewart to accept a fee in lieu of final payment from the Connecticut Water Company in the amount of $305,500 for work completed on Park Avenue, New Street, Grove Street, and May Avenue.
Second motion.
Are we happy with the number?
Very happy. Very happy. They want to write us a check. And Jeremy's getting ready to pave the area, so.
Right. So just for anyone that doesn't know, we've been doing this for the past 8-9 years. And it really helps supplement our paving program. And it's working very well, and we've developed a good working relationship with all of the utility companies. So this thing is really helping us get more streets paved.
We're working with Eversource now to try to get more money for paving that's up there as well.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to sign FY 25-26 Woodard and Kern professional services agreements for environmental services and groundwater extraction management at the former Lanxess facility in an amount not to exceed $430,500.
Second motion.
All right, so this has to do with our stewardship permit and our obligations to DEEP and to the state to, to develop the new industrial park 3. So some of the money's budgeted, some comes from TIF. And every year, we do what we have to do to develop the lots. And we've been working with Woodard and Kern from day one. They've been working on the job for, let's say, 25 plus years. They have all the historical data. They're well respected by DEP, and it would be almost impossible to change horses if we wanted to, just because of the extensive data that they have put together over a long period of time. And we're very responsive to. They're not cheap, but they're very good. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to execute Kleinfelder work order number 4 for parcel B in the amount of $48,600 to support development of 12 easements and the submission of NAUL to Connecticut DEP.
Second motion.
Okay, so, think about this, the DOT is putting in, a new train station and the train platform, which of course Water Street runs through it. We have borough easements, we have Penrose easements, we have DOT easements, and it's very, very complicated, from a mapping standpoint. And from a legal standpoint, it's not complicated, it's just voluminous. So we had to make deals with every utility company, Eversource Electric, Eversource Gas, the Connecticut Water Company, the 2 fiber companies, and the NAUL it's like an environmental land use restriction, but it's for industrial land. And the order in which they are recorded and how things are done is very important. So we had to put a lot of engineering and legal time into this to get it right. So the properties can be sold, and we have everything we need to handle our utilities and our stormwater and sanitary sewers that go through state property, and Penrose has what they need from the state to get their utilities and stormwater to their property. And so we had 3 sets of engineers, 3 sets of lawyers working furiously to make it happen, and Kleinfelder was very helpful. Part of that is, probably most of it, is the surveyor that they had to hire over and above their normal engineering fees to define the areas of all the easements. And there's so many that you can't even read them on a map. So we had to create separate documents, separate exhibits, but it's all done, and everyone's happy. Any questions? By the way, we'll be paying that out of TIP, so that won't impact the budget. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize acting controller Eileen Kanakia to refund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Duggan as the president.
Second motion.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this is our second public comment. So we're in the room or on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand, go in the chat box. Otherwise, make it known you'd like to speak, and you will be recognized. So first call, any public comment? Second call for public comment.
Thank you.
Last call for public comment. All right, we will go to Burgess comments. everyone's here live tonight, I like that. So let's go with Kim.
Okay, attended the adult ed graduation, and it is a ceremony that solidifies, in my mind at least, the importance of education in people's lives. The people that spoke and that won awards at this graduation had either not followed through on their commitments, and these are their words, not mine, when they were in school, or life got in the way, and they had the courage to go back and to do the things that they needed to do. We have an amazing adult ed program in our town that does a lot of wonderful, life-changing things for these folks, and I think that everyone should recognize that. And if you ever get a chance to go to an adult ed graduation, you should do that, because it is a very affirming thing to see. I also was very proud to be a part of the Memorial Day process and the Memorial Day celebrations in town, and recognitions of what was sacrificed to give exactly what we're doing tonight, and in many other ways. Despite the keyboard warriors' portrayal of the disaster that Memorial Day was going to be, everything went off without a hitch. Yep, and the ceremonies were very reverent, as they should be, and the outcome of it was a real sense of pride. I'm sorry I didn't get to Duck Day, because I was at a wedding shower and then a 50th wedding anniversary party, which the first bride said to me that because I was going to a 50th anniversary party, I was giving good juju to her wedding. Haven't heard that in a long time, but I thought it was a very nice portrayal of that. All of these were things that happened in our town, and they reaffirmed for me and for my husband and our family what a nice town that we grew up in and that we raised our kids in. So I think that's worth mentioning.
Okay. Charles?
2 weeks from tonight, first summer concert of the Knox Arts Commission, summer concerts down at the Historical Society, to be performed on a beautiful stage that has been built by our high school construction class. It is installed and down there and looking really good. We just need a big tent to cover it. We get that up, that would be nice. I guess they're still looking for it, the old Board of Ed tents, but they could find one of the tents from the COVID era, put it over that stage. Sooner as opposed to later would be fantastic, so we have a nice covered area. The Arts Commission also has approved their lighting situation for the stage, so it'll be better for performers as they get later on in their performance, but everyone's excited. Historical Society's made a commitment to open up a few of those Tuesday nights as well, to make sure people can experience the museum and the artifacts that are on display there. So that's very exciting stuff.
I really like it down there.
Did they find the tents? Still, a bunch of them were stored at the ECC building.
How do you lose them?
Like at the
Still waiting
base.
for them to be put up. That's all.
I mean, they're just, that's where they're stored.
Still waiting for them to be put up.
Who did you ask to put them up?
They talked to you, Jeff?
Just,
Conversation, but I'll figure it out.
Figure it out, okay. I think they reached out to.
Reach out to Chris.
What?
You know where they are.
Well,
no, they looked at
get an
me.
email back from Ms. Jones.
One thing that's put up is,
We need it, we need those sets, yep.
well, that's the town.
Yep.
Jim?
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
All right, no worries.
And also the girls outdoor track team
Yeah.
Yeah.
came in second in the state
Nice.
First time
Class
in
L.
school history.
First time, and we're getting closer. I mean, Windsor came in first, I put a spread on us, but every year we've gotten a little bit closer, and kudos to them. That's a big deal, and a very competitive. Class L is not an easy class.
For the week.
It's a tough class.
So they did very, very well, and a lot of hard work, and congratulations to them.
And that's 48 well, boys and girls, NVL.
NVL was
That's amazing.
frighteningly blowout.
Yes, blowout.
Sports, yes,
Like,
Yeah.
both men's.
was
and,
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Another great, and congratulations to Coach Roper Has a very good day at the office every time he does.
Every time he goes to the office.
I love the t-shirts.
Charlie, the 10th is going up next week.
Thank you.
Yes, and you shall
I'm
receive.
shocked and surprised that you didn't start with us, you wasted all that time.
You know, I let the Arts Commission try first.
Well, he's mayor.
Mike,
Yeah, I'd just like to comment that this past Sunday Duck Day was a fantastic event. Except for the wind, that didn't allow the Remax rides balloon to go down because it kept blowing over. Yeah, taking people along with it, they had to deflate it.
You end up in Oz.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was a great event, and I appreciate the people that put it all together.
Julie,
Yes, I went to honors night and was very happy to see that we had 14 that went through the trades program. And with that, they received $200 right away. And then they received $500 if they have their driver's license and their paperwork in order. And I gave out 2 scholarships, and if you allow me, I'd like to read what one of the students wrote back to me. Dear Mrs. Rosenblatt, his penmanship is terrible, so, but
Be a doctor.
I was pleasantly surprised to receive this scholarship. Wasn't aware of this nomination, but I am truly appreciative to have been able to accept this award. I will be using this, it's really hard to use, right? We'll be using this award to further expand my learning and opportunities in the future. Once again, thank you so much for this, and I won't waste this opportunity. Sincerely, Ethan Charnecko. Came through. Sorry for my terrible handwriting.
Oh.
So,
Cute.
yeah, it was great to get to receive the awards. Again, adult ed graduation, I'm thrilled to be part of that faculty. It's a wonderful group of people. Our students work so hard. They have overcome so many obstacles in their life. And the one lady who had to keep turning around and thanking us is 65 years old, who got a diploma. So that was excellent.
thank you.
Yes, I would like to request that Brittany and Animal Control be placed on the committee for the new animal control facility. We can have that would be wonderful. I think that's,
So when you say new committee,
well, the committee that's existing. For the new animal control facility. Charlie's on it.
Yep. Megan and
Fred's on it, yeah.
Okay.
We can get Brittany from animal control on that.
what's
we
the next?
established that committee before, she had taken over this.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right, well, appoint her right now. Brittany, animal control is now on the animal control facility.
Cool. This will be the first graduation I've missed in 30 years, but I will be dancing in the night away at Portuguese Club for their 75th anniversary. Because there's food there, there's another graduation.
Priorities.
Also, one of the few things that we can't do online in town is dog licenses. And I've been asked by many people from the dog park, why would they have to go down? Why would they have to mail stuff in? It should be able to be done online. I can scan in my documents, all my stuff, and pay things online. I'm wondering if we can get that done somehow.
Did you talk to Michelle?
Michelle's away, but she didn't respond to me. Did she? But I don't want, yeah, but I don't want to.
Well, let's start with her and then
Well, I think we need to see if IT can do it. She doesn't do it.
Jim.
Well, I have to talk with Michelle, find out what her needs are for it, and then we'll design something to figure out how to do it. It's absolutely doable, it's just what's the process and what's the cost.
Yeah, if we could just get the ball rolling on it, that'd be great.
Sure.
There's no rush.
Yeah, I copied me on, I saw it, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
I mean, we have every other permit, why wouldn't we have that?
currently there's 850 dogs that are licensed in Naugatuck, and we know there's well over 1,000, because there's a whole lot that aren't licensed. So one of the things we do at the dog park, we try to promote that, to get the dogs licensed, mainly for illness and for finding your dog if it's lost.
Can the dog park maybe set up to it like the festivals, maybe a table?
We usually do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we usually do.
And have maybe
Have
some of
dog
the,
registration.
yeah, the registration there.
And then we set up for donations at the dog park every now and then on weekends, and we also have the registrations there.
Awesome.
Thank you, that's it.
Thank you. Bob?
Rock, I don't think you're dancing.
Come on, do your stretches, do your stretches.
Yes,
Do
I
your
was
stretches.
gonna echo what Mike said,
I
Dump
can
Day
help
was,
you.
Dump Day was a nice day. Had the opportunity to take my grandson and my granddaughter there, which, that alone, my grandson will wear you out. In a 2-hour period, it's like you were with him for 10 hours. But,
Active child.
he was excited, and, it was a good day, and, a lot of people.
Thank you, Fran.
Mentioned before, the Memorial Day parade was fantastic. And not just the parade, but the events before and after. I was glad to see such a great turnout. The early morning, 5:15 a.m. turnout for that. It was really nice to see that representation from the different departments. I also wanted to mention that, about the adult ed. I've taken advantage of it way back in the 70s. My first real connection, if you will, for lack of a better word, was when Peter Ball was closing. And Julie conservative, we had a number of people who were making great money, working good. There's no reason for them to find another job. Working all kinds of overtime, and figured they closed in 2007. They were making $80,000 a year operating machinery, and a lot of them didn't have high school diplomas, and a lot of them also English was somewhat a second language for it, and because of them being able to get their diplomas and more training. People that I'm still in contact with, a lot of them have moved on, and most of us have retired, but you have nurses, you have medical assistants, dental hygienists. And that's just a small number of them. Everyone I see that went through that program are all living with, having a successful life. You know, they came from the bottom of losing their job that they worked at for years and years and years, that there's no reason for them to ever leave that job because they paid good, the benefits were good. And then their life changed. And because of adult education, it brought them back again.
It was a nice collaboration.
It was.
Yes.
That's great. And that's, I don't know.
Long time ago.
Maybe, yes. It's hard to believe, 18 years in the
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was at the beginning of the
Thank you. All right. Working.
Well, I too, was at the adult ed graduation, and I really do. This is like my 13th year I've been going, and I really do enjoy, the reports that the students read and their heartfelt responses and things like that. So I thought, that's one of the things that's very moving about that whole program. The Foley Awards were a couple of weeks ago, and Ann Shu was our Raymond K. Foley Award recipient. And we also recognized a staff and a volunteer of the year at each one of the schools. And we also had a special recognition for the Salem School PTO members. So it was a good event. It was held at the auditorium at the high school, as opposed to the Crystal Room. So things got changed around for whatever reason. So that was a good ceremony. And I think one of the recommendations was to move the application process back to the schools. It was moved to the PSC during COVID. And then, I think it's time now to move it back to the individual schools and let the individual schools start to vet them out as it used to be done. So, so that was good. I look forward to the graduation on Friday. I'm hoping it doesn't rain. And,
So far, graduations should be okay.
And there's just been a lot of activity between zoning and planning on this new HB 5002 when it comes to zoning changes and things like that, like for affordable housing. So that seems to be a hot spot these days for the planning and the zoning commissions. That's it.
Good times we hold umbrellas over those components.
Swear to God.
All right, thank you, Dorothy. Thank you.
So, to mirror Charlie with the track, I just want to congratulate the track team, Coach Roper. Also at the middle school level, we had 2 athletes go to states this year. One of which placing 7th overall, going into her freshman year at the high school. So very proud of her, Jaden Reynolds. And we had young Nancy Amari. He ran in the 200, placing 21st out of 94. So pretty impressive. They'll also both be attending Dartmouth High School, hopefully continuing their track careers. We are also, the track team, sending about 10 athletes to Philadelphia in a few weeks to nationals. They've qualified. This being an out of season event, the school does not help fund this at all. So they are responsible for everything. They're not allowed to wear their school issued uniforms. So they have to, yes, they have to provide their own uniforms, hotels, meals, travel. It's all on the parents, and unfortunately Coach Roper takes care of a lot of this on his own. So I did set up a couple fundraisers for them. You guys, if you venture out this weekend, Stop and Shop. Your nationals athletes will be doing a can shake. Also, I'm happy to send out Coach Roper's contact information if anyone wanted to reach out to him on making a personal donation to the team. I think that he would greatly appreciate it because they are representing our community. And doing things like a GoFundMe or anything like that got a little hairy with fees and.
How much money are you trying to raise?
Roughly about $4,000 would cover everything.
And,
for everyone.
when are you gonna know when you're short or not?
So right now it's all coming out of the parents' pockets. They're
Well,
paying.
No, I mean, you're trying to raise 4,000, so they won't have to go.
Correct.
You're going to Stop and Shop. What's your cutoff date?
When are they going?
They go the 19th, June 19th.
June 19th.
19th to the 22nd.
So let me know where you are, because I could make some requests with you.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering why we can't get somebody like a company, somebody to sponsor their uniforms or whatever for this off-season.
I'd like you to deliver a message to the school that they let me recruit athletes will have the town take over the whole sport operation.
The nationals thing always gets so hairy, and it's so hard because these kids work so hard. Coach Roper has done this. You guys know I'm like his biggest advocate for years, and it gets so frustrating at this stage of the game that these kids have made it this far, and I would hate for a kid to not have this opportunity. Oh, they're going.
Yeah, well,
They're going.
How many are going?
About 10.
But
I
they
heard
did.
fees alone for each event like $200.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which Coach Roper is already paid.
I sponsored t-shirts for 2 soccer teams, and it's not that much money.
Yeah.
For 10 people.
Yep.
Place should be able to just donate them shirts.
Between registration, their uniforms, the travel, the hotels, because it's a weekend long event. It's nationals, so the hotel rates go up.
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Where in Philadelphia?
You can,
Yes.
yeah, right where they hold tug relays, the same facility. It's such an awesome opportunity for these kids, and an honor, really. I mean, they earn this. It's not even an opportunity. It's, they worked for this. So that's why we do whatever we can to make sure.
Every year.
Yes.
So I would think that could probably work on getting somebody.
We have to get a nonprofit, essentially, is what the track team needs.
Yeah.
We need to put together, what is it, a 501c3? Yes, that's the only way around this at this point.
Yeah, or to get some company to sponsor their uniforms.
So they have to be, uniforms are particular.
Yes.
When gender, it all has to be the same.
Yes, and it can't have, and it can't say anything regarding the high school. Even when we register, we're not registered as Naugatuck High School, we're
Right.
registered as Naugatuck Track Club.
Because it's not a sanctioned
Right.
CIC
Correct.
event.
But they're particular, you can't have short here and the short here, and, you know.
Yeah, everybody has to uniform.
Oh, God.
And that's all I have.
Remember that well.
Okay, anyone wanna have one last crack at a comment? All right, hearing none, so go to item 31.
Motion to recess to executive session at 8:22 PM for discussion of the following. Real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z, Naugatuck Industrial Park, Section 3, freight rail discussion, Hershey property, Riverview Mobile Home Park, collective bargaining, upsuit, and pending litigation.
Inviting it anywhere.
All those in favor?
So,
Oh, yeah, let's have Marcello.
Anybody in Marcello?
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll take a roll. We reconvene the meeting at 9:06. And we will go to item 32, matters emanating from executive session. And I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to submit an offer to acquire the Hershey property on the Haven Road as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
So second.
It's so second. Really? So tired of those.
He knows
All
call.
right, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I will also entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into a tax abatement or other tax relief program with Riverview Mobile Home Park as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rocky?
Motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:06 PM.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.